Have you ever wondered what the fuck someone is talking about when they say they're gonna breed their Pokemon? Yeah, well, me too, okay? Kind of fucking weird. Anyways, today's video is about breeding Pokemon, okay? So I'm gonna teach you the basics of breeding Pokemon and how to understand how breeding Pokemon works, okay? So first things first, this all starts here at this daycare, okay? So this is pretty much how you're gonna breed your Pokemon, okay? The first thing that we are gonna go over is egg groups, okay? Not all Pokemon are able to properly breed. So there is a website where you can see all the Pokemon in each egg group. Just know that you can only breed Pokemon that are in the same egg group as each other. We're gonna get on to why people breed Pokemon, okay? Why do you breed Pokemon? Well, there's actually a reason for breeding Pokemon. They don't just do it for fun, okay? So if we go onto this efforts tab of our Pokemon, we can see that we have IVs. Now, IVs can be randomized, of course, by finding a Pokemon in the wild, but IVs actually help your Pokemon become better. So you see these 31 IVs, they actually mean that this Pokemon does a lot better in attack, defense, and special attack. So if we have a Pokemon with all 31 IVs, they're going to be really good at PvP and PvE, so it's a really good Pokemon. So how exactly does breeding Pokemon help us get better IVs? Well, when we breed Pokemon, 3 IVs are randomly taken from the mother and father, and 3 IVs are completely randomized, the number between 0 and 31. If we have two 6x31 parents, we have a guaranteed 3x31. But here's something really cool. There is an item that can actually help us get more IVs. This means two perfect 6x31 Pokemon can have a guaranteed 5x31, and it's only a 1 in 32 chance of getting a 6x31. So this item that helps us is the Destiny Knot. This will allow 5 randomized stats to be taken from the mother and the father rather than just 3. So this will only randomize 1 stat. Now you might be asking, what are these power items? Now these power items not only help with grinding EVs, but they also help with breeding. Now, for example, if we want a power bracer, power belt, power band, power weight, power lens, power anklet, these will each give a certain stat to the Pokemon. So let's say that you want the offspring of a Pokemon to have a 31 speed stat, and you have one of the Pokemon you're breeding with a 31 speed stat. So what you're going to do is you're going to give that Pokemon the power anklet, and then you are going to breed, and that Pokemon will have a guaranteed same stat as the parent. So that is the exact same with all of these, it's just a different stat. So these items can definitely help you in breeding, and especially the Destiny Knot, because that just completely allows you to have a 5x31 guaranteed as long as you have good IV parents. Now, there is something to note. You are not going to get a 6x31 really fast unless you have a 6x31 Ditto. Now, I have a 6x31 Ditto, so breeding is definitely a lot faster for me, but you are not going to get Pokemon bred really fast, up to 6x31, right? So what you're going to want to do is start at the bottom. Let's say you have two 1x31 Pokemon. You're going to breed those, and eventually you're going to get 2x31 Pokemon, then you're going to replace the 1x31, you're going to work your way up. Now, the Destiny Knot is not good if you only have 1x31 Pokemon. If you're using 1x31 Pokemon, the Destiny Knot's just going to be taking all those bad stats and putting it back in and only randomizing one stat. So try to only use the Destiny Knot once you have a good amount of IVs that it can take, and it will actually make the Pokemon better. Now, this is really only needed for PvP and maybe for the Elite Four. If you're just doing regular adventure mode, you really don't need to worry about breeding. It's not a big deal. Breeding's only good in PvP because all Pokemon are set to the exact same level. And when all Pokemon are the same level, the thing that differentiates the Pokemon is the stats. And, of course, the IVs and EVs boost the stat. Now, I spoke a little bit about Ditto before, but what exactly is Ditto and what does Ditto do? Ditto is a Pokemon that can transform into any Pokemon in battle. Now, Ditto is actually not really considered a good battling Pokemon in Project Bronze Forever, but it is very significant within the community because it can breed with any Pokemon So, Ditto being able to breed with any Pokemon means that if you have a very good IV Ditto, that means that those IVs can be carried on to the offspring, and you can easily farm your way up to a 6x31 Pokemon. So, all these 31s means that my Ditto is actually really good for breeding. So, how can you actually obtain a Ditto? Well, in order to obtain a Ditto, the first thing that you should do is fly your way over to Anthian City. Once you land in Anthian City, what you're going to want to do is head over towards the housing district. All right, so once you've made it here, you're just going to come all the way down and towards this golden Pokeball Hotel. Of course, this is where you can find the arcade, as many of you might already know. Once inside, just head over to the right here and go inside the arcade. Once you continue down over here towards the shop, you can find that you can actually purchase a Ditto for 10,000 ticks. Now, 10,000 ticks is actually kind of hard to obtain, but you can always purchase ticks from the guy who is over here. He's really shady, but he's very helpful. Now, most of you will not get a 6x31 Ditto. It's very difficult. Like I said, there is a 1 in 32 chance of having a 31 IV for all 6 IVs. Now, I don't know the math off the top of my head, but that must be somewhere in probably the tens of millions of getting a perfect 6x31 Ditto. So what you can expect is probably to get around a 1 or 2 by 31. Sometimes you will only get a 0 by 31. Now, how can we actually breed? I never explained how to breed. Well, I'll go over that right now. So, you're gonna come into this daycare, and inside you will actually find an old lady. Now, this lady, you can just leave Pokemon with her, okay? So, you're gonna interact with her, and she'll have the option to leave Pokemon. Now, they will level up your Pokemon, but very slowly. But the main part is that they can actually breed your Pokemon. If you have a male and a female of the same egg group, or a male or a female and a Ditto, you can breed your Pokemon, right? So how does the breeding work? Well, after you walk around for a little bit, eventually this old man will be interactable. He'll be facing the exact opposite, 180 degrees of where he's facing right now, and he will tell you, "Oh, we found an egg. Would you like it?" You will say yes and take it, and eventually, after you walk like a little bit of steps, you will actually hatch that egg, and it will likely hatch in to the mother, or if you are breeding with a Ditto, the Pokemon that is not the Ditto. Now, it is very important to note that you cannot breed legendary or mythical or ultra beast Pokemon. You can only breed regular Pokemon. You cannot breed Dittos. If you have two Dittos, they will not breed. You can only breed a Ditto with one Pokemon, male or female, from any of the regular egg groups. So I will probably leave a link in the description to the website that includes the egg groups so you can refer to it later. And if you have any extra questions, probably just leave it in the comments, but make sure to drop me a subscribe, please. Thank you.